আহ, আমরা এই সকালে ঘুম থেকে উঠে এসেছি একটা ওই উইন্টার পার্ক ফ্লোরিডা স্নিক বোট ট্যুরে যাব। ওই জন্য বেরিয়ে এসেছি সকালবেলা। এখন দেখা যাক কি আছে স্নিক বোর্ডে। বোর্ডের জন্য অপেক্ষা করছি। আমাদের টাইম হচ্ছে 11টায়। দেখি, জায়গাটা খুবই সুন্দর, চমৎকার জায়গা, বিউটিফুল, ভালোই। কিছুক্ষণ পানিতে ভেসে আসে আর কি। জায়গাটা খুবই সুন্দর, বাড়ি ঘরগুলি খুবই সুন্দর এখানে। পশ এরিয়া, জায়গাটা ভালোই দেখা যাচ্ছে, পশ এরিয়া মনে হচ্ছে। বোটের অপেক্ষা আমরা সবাই বসে আছি। নতুন আমরা সবাই অপেক্ষা করছি। আমিও আছি সাথে। অপেক্ষার পালা এখন। দেখি বোট আসুক, তারপরে আবার যাওয়া। আমরা এই বোটগুলোতে যাবো। বোটগুলো এসে হাজির হয়েছে এখন। এগুলি লোকজন বেরিয়ে গেলে তখন আমরা যাব। এই ধরনের বোট আছে বেশ কয়েকটা। ওই বোটগুলো এই ধরনের বোট, ওপেন বোট। অপেক্ষায় আছে এখন বোটে ওঠার জন্য। আমাদেরকে কল করবে, কল করলেই আমরা একটু যাবো ওখানে।
Rollins is at 3,200 or so plus or minus. And the tuition, anybody want to take a crack at the tuition? Is that with room and board is 77? I hear 60 plus 17 for room and board. That about it? Now I hear though that the good news is for those with little ones on the boat, is their eyebrow pop a number when you hear that. What? But 90 to 92% of the students participate in scholarships. The Alpine Hotel also donates 100% of their profit to the tune of about 12 million last year. Yeah, these dorms right here. I've only been out here about 2 years or so. I grew up here in Winter Park, but one of my first tours here. Beautiful 4-bedroom, 4-bath, and suite, private pool up there, views of the lake. I don't know where you live, but pretty nice digs. So I had a couple of freshmen on the boat on my first runs, and in my defense, it was a long hot day. They said these were only available for seniors. So when I got off work that day, I called over there to check on it, and apparently it wasn't senior citizens. That's what the lady did on the phone. So I had my room all picked out. I was interviewing roommates, seeing what kind of beer and pizza they liked. Of course, going to class probably would have killed the deal. That's what happened the first time. These are two of the three boathouses. Balance loves their water sports here. And about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, we'll see the third boathouse over at Lake Maitland. The crew team needs that 450-acre size on Lake Maitland versus only about 170 acres here in Lake Virginia for their regattas when they have their competitions. This is the Cornell Rollins Museum. Over 5,000 pieces of art on display. Free admission. And again, all the museums are closed on a Monday, but I'd suggest if you had an hour or so to kill, stop by the commissary. I mean, 77 grand, they got to make a good sandwich, right? Come out and enjoy your lunch and check out the free art. I'm always telling people to do that. My next day off, I am going to actually. Some of the other skippers have been in the commissary. Say it's pretty good. All four said. 16 years ago or so, it was a place South Apartments. The school purchased it, renovated it. During the renovation, allowed the students to design the pool behind the palm trees and name that dock. They named it the study dock. For some reason, I've never seen any studying going on out there. And this beautiful lakefront residence, that's reserved for the sitting president of Rollins College. They reside lakefront during their term. Pretty nice perk. I heard the other day that Cromwell has, President Cromwell has resigned. Yeah, he's finishing in May. May? What? I got my application in. As long as they don't do a background check, I'm sure that. Did somebody from Butler, was it a woman? Yeah. Well, these are all private condos back over to the firm. Oh. Oh, wow. I got a guy Theo on here the other day, the curator.
I like it.
Cornell Rollins.
I think on the tinta canal.
He's on my book. I always look for folks to get a little inside knowledge. Growing up in Winter Park, I never knew much about Rollins. So Winter Park's really proud of the clarity of these lakes. They are natural spring fed and rainwater capture, and they actually flow to the north. The overflow in the chain gets into the St. Johns River eventually. The St. Johns uniquely flows north as a navigable river up to Jacksonville, empties into the Atlantic. Due to that fact, it's on a short list of navigable rivers in the world that do that. In fact, it's gotten the nickname, the St. John's, of the Nile of North America as it flows north. The Nile flows out of Egypt into the Mediterranean. Of course, they have crocodiles, we have gators. I'm all right with that, but that's probably the only gator we'll see today, that little fella. That's Al E. Gator, middle name.
The fake alligator.
And then, yes. Hello again. How you doing? Yes, two more behind me. We're back under Palmer Bridge here. You want to use me to push over? You want? Yeah, we'll do that. Got it? All right, thanks, man. Got two more behind me, I think. Watch your heads, folks.
I love that.
That's the granddaddy trees in this canal. This pine on our right is said to be over 150 years old. That oak tree on the left over 350. And all that Spanish moss you see hanging out of the tree there along with the resurrection fern, that was the source of the first automotive recall. Henry Ford used to stuff his Model T seats with it. People complained, they had to recall it. The first guy that told me that, I had to have it verified by other people because he said during the recall, Ford was letting in a full page ads saying, Ford just needs you to buy a Ford. And I looked it up and they actually took out a full page ad in Life magazine. Some ad guy turning lemons into lemonade probably got a nice big bonus. There's some more of those Cypress knees up close and personal. He was after a lot of that processed hardwood that was coming out of Dinky Dock for his business. Mr. Brewer had a carriage, had a cabin on this site. He came back somewhere around 1924 with the intention to renovate the cabin and, more importantly, to entice his wife to move to the wilds of Winter Park from upstate New York. His problem was he had just built her dream home up in Portland, New York. So, as a happy wife makes a happy life, he agreed to build her the exact replica of that Georgian revival. 7 bathrooms, 8 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, and a ballroom. Ballroom's on the second floor there. The front door faces the lake. The only way to see the front door is out here from the lake. And you'll have to forgive him. In 1897, he originally bought 40 acres here in this area of a frozen orange grove from Rollins College. So as he was laying his house out, that makes sense that he would face the lake if you're looking at a frozen grove. It's also known as the Two Palms, with those 2 palm trees. One of only 2 homes here in Winter Park on the National Historical Registry. And one last little fact that I found out here a couple months ago, Mrs. Brewer had 2 identical homes to pick from. She only visited this house once or twice in her lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Brewer had written a manuscript titled How to Please a Woman. He just couldn't get it published. He gave it a shot, though. These birdhouses are built to exact specifications to attract the purple martin. They make an 8,000-mile migration from Brazil. And while they're here, they eat their weight a day in insects. Nice trade-off for that homeowner. Eats a sip of milk again. The 1930s, 40s, and 50s here in Winter Park, we had a very talented architect by the name of James Gamble Rogers II. You'll hear me mention his name this morning here a few times, as he had a hand at designing a lot of the lakefront homes and in Winter Park proper, for that matter. One of his last projects in 1958 was a Bermuda-style home for the Rich family. This Rich had 2 provisions. One is every window in the house has a view of the lake, and she gets a nice white sandy beach out front. So they trucked that sand in 1958 from Daytona Beach.
Wow.
And there's a rumor going around, with all these hurricanes we've had, that Daytona called and wanted that sand back. I'm making it rumor. We'll see where that goes. You come back in a year and the skipper tells you that, you're going to go, Skipper Mickey's a legend. Alligator Cove. For some reason, all the gators decided to congregate up there and made a nuisance of themselves for the homeowners. So Game and Wildlife was called in. They came into that cove and they trapped over 150 alligators. Took them up to Lake Jessup up on the St. Johns River, which is pretty much our #1 repository for nuisance alligators in the area. That's probably our #1 question we get out here. Do we see any gators? Wendell, who's leading us today, is our oldest, lengthiest driver in 17 years, I think, and he's never had a sighting. Now, when I was a kid out here, we'd see it all the time. It's Florida, it's wet. Gator's going to go where Gator's going to go. But I've got a theory that I've been working on. See what you think. I think it's a function of the property taxes these folks pay. The bottom of their bill, it's unlike ours. It's got a little 1-800-GATOR be gone or something like that. If they see them out here, it kind of segues into that whole comment there. They drop a dime and they come get them. You know, it doesn't do a community any good. Kind of like down by Naples about 2 years ago, there was a woman got grabbed by an 11-footer. You remember that? It was horrific. The neighbor filmed the whole thing. The first thing the reporter asked the woman filming, well, the woman said, "We never thought Henry would do that." So what does that tell you? Now this is our 42,000 square foot single family home. It's close to completion. It's been under construction for close to 5 years. The owners, the couple that's building the home, has a pretty good sense of humor. They started construction, like I say, as they prepped the lot about 5 years ago or so. They put a banner out in front of the property that said, "Coming soon, a nursing home. Call now to reserve your room." So if you were on the switchboard at planning and zoning that day, I guarantee you that sucker lit up with all these neighbors calling in. But I'm hearing underground parking, bowling alley, shooting range, all those necessities you need for your new home. This is James Gamble Rogers on our right. Give you a little perspective on that 42,000. That's over 7,000 square feet. And this is a 1955, this old beauty. Design and build, James Gamble Rogers. The owners just finished a 2-year renovation on that. It really does my heart good to see them renovate rather than send it all off to a landfill somewhere. This is our Venetian Canal we're entering. The Venetian Canal takes us about 3/4 of a mile over to Lake Maitland. Literally going through people's backyards on the left-hand side. So I try and keep my comments to a minimum to preserve a little of their peace and quiet. And you don't need to hear me yakking away to enjoy this unique canal.
তুমি এখন থেকে আমরা এখানে লাগাই খেজুর গাছ
That's on our way out. Yeah, it's right there next to that. Oh, that's what. Well, this is Palmer Bridge. Takes us underneath Palmer Drive. I kind of nicknamed it the Orchid Bridge, though. This someone likes to put her orchids up in the tree. This would zip tie them up and let them go. It was a rumor they were going to do a mural underneath here. I heard the other day the city commission voted that down. I think that'd be a great spot for one. Maybe a little period picture of Palmer Drive or something. Park out of it.
গন্ধটা শোনা পুরান পানির গন্ধ না না লাগে দেখো আর কিচেন বাইরে দেখো You guys want to share?
They say wait 5 minutes. Hopefully.
এটা একটা মজা
I didn't see any rain forecast.
বৃষ্টি এসে গেল হঠাৎ।
These guys, if you live in like a major league hitter, right? They write 33% of the time.
এখানে আমরা ড্রাইভ করি একটু
Got two, maybe 4 more behind them.
ভালো করছো তুমি। বাড়িগুলো ক্যানেল দিয়ে যাচ্ছি, ক্যানেল 3টা ক্যানেল আছে মোট,
Boathouses are separate.
আমরা 2টা ক্রস করবো।
Homeowner there across the street. Yeah, so it's conceivable. I heard one of the guys on the canal here a couple of years ago sold his just his boathouse for like $300,000. Yeah, it's gonna put a dent on boat budget if I
Yeah.
be a little embarrassing in that canoe. That's assuming I can come up with the 300. It is the largest of the 6 lakes. Due to that feature, it's home to Rollins' crew team. This is their boathouse on our right here, but we'll be back in the Venetian here in about 10 minutes. Whole lot easier viewing if your neck is anything like mine. Keith, I see you over there hiding behind the tree. You got 4 more behind me, buddy. This isn't rain, it's Florida. It's just a little drizzle. Wait 5 minutes. Weeks ago came through here. I bet you that cypress tree is over 200 years old or so. This is probably the largest canopy of cypress trees in our park. Some of the trees in the park here are said to be over 800 years old.
Wow.
This is known as a monument, really popular for photography and for weddings. It's known as the etc. On a personal note, back on 2/22/22, as a notary, I officiated at my niece's wedding here. Yeah, but I got in a hurry about 8 months ago, excuse me. And I said, oh, I married my niece over here on the right. started a really strange conversation with a guy from Kentucky right here, sitting right here. He started it off, but what's the matter with that? I need to lose that right. Nobody's from Kentucky, I think. I mean, it must be. 1979 or so, that's been the Alabama condominiums. That was the year they renovated the hotel. The hotel was built in 1921 as a hotel that attracted quite a few notables. Horton Wilder, the author, was a guest at the Alabama. Margaret Mitchell was said to have finished her novel, Gone with the Wind, while she was a guest at the Alabama. This property in front of us here is known as La Villa Toscana. It's a beautiful example of Italian architecture. I just call that boathouse out front the Lake Como boathouse. I've never been to Lake Como, but that sure looks like it to me. Just a massive landscaping package on this property. I don't know if you can see the water feature down the center of the landscaping. That's all hand-laid mosaics. They spared no expense on that. Just massive landscaping, as there is over here on the Great Gatsby, I call this one. Never seen a stick out of place on either one of these properties.
Like red or like
This is our Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and we kept that tradition alive in his honor. He passed about 10 years ago or so. We've only seen 20-25% of Lake Maitland. The majority of the lake is in the city of Maitland, down past Dog Island there, and that's actually the skyline of Maitland. For those of you, you see his ornament? He's got a carrot on that. We see him out here all the time. Again.
Okay.